Hey, how's it going? If you have a cat, or more than one, you've probably noticed that famous little tail flick, right? Sometimes your kitty is all calm, and then suddenly, the tail starts moving back and forth in a very specific way. But what does that tail wag really mean? Is it irritation, happiness, boredom? The mystery gets solved today. But before I tell you the real meaning behind this feline behavior, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're a cat lover like me, and turn on the notification bell. Because every week there's brand new content about the wonderful world of cats. So let's get into it. Look, a lot of people still think cats are unpredictable, that they just do things out of nowhere, jump on your lap, sprint across the house, knock things off shelves. But the truth is, if you really pay attention, almost everything a cat does has a reason. Nothing is random. They have their own unique language, subtle but very clear. And one of the most important signals in that language is the movement of their tail. Yep, that cute little tail. It might seem like just an extra fluffy detail, but it's actually a powerful tool for communication. And understanding what it means can completely change the way you interact with your cat. Unlike dogs, who tend to be more obvious, barking, whining, wagging their tails like crazy, cats are masters of quiet communication. They don't make a lot of noise when they want to tell you something. Instead, they speak with their body, with their eyes, the position of their ears, their overall posture. And of course, their tail. Especially their tail. Learning to read. These signals is like learning a whole new language, the feline language. And once you understand it, everything starts to make sense. Your cat's mood, what they want, what they don't want, when they're just curious or when they're hitting their limit. All right, stay with me here. You know when your cat's tail starts moving quickly, side to side, almost like a whip? That sharp, rhythmic flick that seems to slice through the air. Yep. A lot of people think that means the cat is playing or excited. But actually, this kind of tail movement is one of the clearest signs that your cat is annoyed, frustrated, or tense. That's right. Unlike dogs who wag their tails when they're happy, excited, or want to play, cats use that whipping tail motion to signal the opposite. In the feline world, a fast, swishing tail usually means the mood is shifting, and not in a good way. It's a warning, and it often comes right before some kind of reaction, like a swipe, a bite, or your cat just storming off in dramatic fashion. It's basically your cat saying loud and clear, without making a sound, "Hey, knock it off. I'm getting fed up." Or, "I'm about to make a decision, and you might not like it." You'll often see this behavior when a cat is being touched when they don't want to be, when the environment is too noisy or overstimulating, when another animal invades their space, or even during a play session that's gone a little too far. That whipping tail is their last warning before they act. In short, fast tail flick. Nah, time to back off. Giving your cat that space and respecting their boundary can make a huge difference in your relationship. And it'll definitely help you avoid a few surprise scratches along the way. You know that moment when you're petting your cat and they seem to be loving it. They close their eyes, give that soft purring sound, and seem totally relaxed. Everything's great, right? They're enjoying the attention. But then, suddenly, you start to notice that their tail begins to move in a firmer, more controlled way. It's not the soft swish anymore. It's more marked, almost like their tail has a mind of its own. And that's when you need to pay attention. This could be a sign that they've had enough. What happens is that, just like us, cats have their limits. They may be enjoying the petting at first, but every cat has their saturation point. When the tail starts moving more intensely, it's like they're telling you, "All right, that's enough for now." It's not that they're angry, but it's their way of saying that the petting session is over and they either want some space or for you to stop touching them. If you ignore this warning and keep going, things might escalate a little. The cat might give you that famous tap with their paw, almost like a "hey, stop." Or if they're really at their limit, they might even give you a little bite, just to make it crystal clear that the petting time has come to an end. This behavior is completely normal and part of feline communication. Cats are pretty independent, and while they love affection, they also need control over how much and when they want to be touched. So paying attention to tail movements and other body signs is key to avoiding misunderstandings. In short, tail, moving more firmly. Time to stop petting. Respecting this will keep things calm between you and your cat, and avoid any warning bites. But hold on, it's not just that. A cat's tail has many different languages, and understanding the context behind each movement is super important. Just because your cat's tail moves doesn't automatically mean they're angry or annoyed. The key is paying attention to how they're behaving, where they are, and what is going on around them. For example, imagine your cat is sitting by the window, all quiet, eyes locked on a bird outside, maybe on a tree or a fence. They're super focused, almost frozen, following every little move of that tiny creature. Then suddenly, their tail starts to twitch in short, rapid, and intense movements. It's not the typical flicking that signals irritation. This is more of an internal agitation. What you're seeing here is the cat's frustration. But it's not anger. This behavior is the cat's hunting instinct kicking in. They're there, fully concentrated on that bird, probably thinking, "I need to catch that thing." But at the same time, they know they can't, because they're inside, or the window is closed, or the bird is simply out of their reach. That tail, movement, is their body trying to cope with the frustration of being in a battlefield where they have no control. The tail becomes a sort of emotional indicator, showing that deep down, they're feeling tense and excited, but also contained. It's like they're saying, "I'm trying to keep it together, but it's hard. I just want to hunt." The rapid, short flicks of the tail are their way of expressing that their inner predator is being frustrated, but in a controlled way. They know they can't act on it, so they use their body to release some of that tension. This type of movement is really common when they see something moving outside, like a bird, a leaf blowing in the wind, or even a toy they can't quite reach. And this is where understanding the context becomes so important. A rapidly moving tail can be frustration, but it doesn't mean you need to worry. The cat is simply dealing with their natural hunting desire and the limits of the situation. By the way, let me know in the comments. Has your cat ever done this? Sat by the window, saw a bird outside, and started shaking or swinging their tail in a very noticeable way. I always get amazed when I see mine go into indoor hunting mode. I want to know if it's just mine or if your cat also gets all excited, watching the world outside and showing off their hunter instincts in action. Now, here's something really cool to know. Not every tail movement means something bad. A cat's tail is like a key to understanding their emotions, and there are also lots of positive signals. For example, if their tail is upright, with the tip slightly bent or even trembling, like it's vibrating. That's a sign of positive excitement. This type of tail movement happens when the cat is happy, excited, or even a little surprised by something going on around them. A classic example is when you come home after being out for a while. The cat, who was just chilling, suddenly realizes you're back, and they come running to greet you, almost as if they're saying, "Hey, I'm so glad you're back." And guess what happens next? Their tail starts to shake or wag quickly, like it's vibrating with happiness. It's so cute, and honestly, it melts anyone's heart, right? This movement is a clear demonstration that the cat is super happy to see you. And they're not just saying hello with their eyes or a meow. They're literally expressing their joy through their tail. It's like a welcome sign, a little emotional party, but it's all happening with their tail and that adorable little, I can't believe you're back energy. This is one of those moments we love as cat owners because it's like they're saying, in their silent language, you're part of my world, and I'm so happy you're back. And believe me, if your cat does this, you're very lucky. Not every cat shows that much excitement when they see their owner, so it's a true privilege. So, if your cat's tail is upright and trembling lightly, you can be sure they're really happy, and that's a sign of affection, trust, and of course, a warm welcome. This is one of the clearest examples of how their tail reflects positive feelings and affection. The next time it happens, enjoy the moment and return that affection, because there's nothing better than this kind of hello from your cat. Another super interesting situation is when the cat is curious or trying to figure something out. It could be a strange sound, a new object in the house, or even a change in the environment that they weren't expecting. In this moment, their behavior is very different from the others we talked about before because their body tends to stay still, almost as if they're focused, and that's when the tail comes into play. When the cat is in this curious state, the tail might begin to move slowly, swaying gently from side to side, almost like it's weighing what's going on around them. This movement is much calmer, subtler than the rapid movements we see when they're frustrated or agitated. The cat isn't reacting aggressively or irritably. They're simply trying to process what's happening. It's more of a I'm evaluating than I'm irritated. When you see this slow tail movement, the cat is assessing the situation, trying to decide if it's safe, whether they should get closer or investigate more. They're curious, but they're in no rush to act, and their body and tail reflect that calmness. They're not tense or frustrated, they're just absorbing the information around them. The key here is the intensity of the movement. When the tail moves slowly, you can tell that their attitude is more observant and cautious rather than reactive. This slow tail movement is a sign that the cat is in investigator or explorer mode. They're not scared, but they're also not rushing to approach. They're simply taking in everything around them, trying to figure out what that strange sound or new object might be. Do you see how the intensity of the movement changes the way we interpret the behavior? The intensity of the tail movement really changes the tone of the message the cat is trying to send. A faster movement might signal irritation or frustration, while a slower, gentler movement is a clear sign of curiosity and observation. The tail, in this case, acts like a calm indicator, helping us understand that the cat isn't in danger or agitated, but they're just trying to understand the world around them. This is what I love about cats. They're not distant or cold. In fact, they're incredibly subtle and full of layers. Often, cats are seen as more independent or even mysterious animals, but when you stop and observe closely, you realize just how complex and communicative they really are. The thing is, they communicate in such a unique way, far beyond just a simple meow or obvious behavior. Every gesture, every tail movement, every expression on their face has meaning. And that's exactly what makes the relationship with a cat so special. The need to learn to read those signals. Once you start understanding your cat's body language, the communication between you transforms. It's no longer just about what they say with words or sounds. It's about everything they're saying with their body. This creates a much deeper connection, because instead of relying solely on words or sounds, you start to hear your cat in a much more intuitive and sensitive way. By observing their movements, facial expressions, and even their tail behavior, you begin to understand their needs and feelings. Whether they're relaxed or stressed, hungry or just wanting affection, you can sense when they're looking for some space or when they want to be close to you, even without them vocalizing anything. And with this, the trust between you grows because they feel that you're attentive to their feelings and respect their space and boundaries. What's amazing about all of this is that this silent communication deepens over time. The more time you spend with your cat and the more attentive you become to their needs and signals, the stronger the bond between you becomes. It's as if you start speaking the same language without using words. This creates a bond of trust and affection. That's hard to describe, but easy to feel. You begin to realize that while cats may be more independent, they're also incredibly loyal and have a way of showing love that's often subtle but immensely powerful. And honestly, that's what makes living with a cat so unique. It's not about grand gestures or exaggerated displays of affection, but about the small moments of mutual understanding. When you start noticing those signs and hearing your cat, you begin to respect even more who they are and how they express themselves. And this transforms your relationship into something truly special because it's built on respect, understanding, and of course, a lot of love. And a bonus curiosity. Did you know that cats don't wag their tails at each other like they do with humans? That's because many of the signals they develop with us are learned behaviors from living with humans. For example, meowing is almost exclusively used with humans. So, your cat has a special vocabulary just for you. Pretty cool, right? And hey, if you have more than one cat, pay attention to the tail language between them. Sometimes a tail wag can be the beginning of a fight or a warning. Stay away, I'm not in the mood for games today. Understanding this can help avoid conflicts, improve the relationship between your pets, and even help with your daily routine with them. Now, I want to give you a challenge. Observe your cat today. Notice how they use their tail in different situations, when they're playing, when you come home, when they hear a noise. And take notes. Make it like a feline journal. Trust me, in just a few days, you'll start to understand a lot more than you imagined. And if you liked this video and want to see more content like this, unraveling feline behaviors with a touch of lightness and curiosity, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like so I know you enjoy this kind of video, and share it with that friend who always says cats are hard to understand. Who knows, this video might help, right? Oh, and comment down below. Which behavior of your cat would you like to understand better? Maybe it'll become the topic of the next video. Thank you so much for watching until the end. A hug to you, a head scratch to your kitty, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.